Hello providers and welcome to today's workshop. In today's workshop we are focusing on the characteristics that us as providers bring to the table when treating our patients and how these characteristics have an influence on the outcomes of our patients and the patient satisfactory. So in today's workshop we're specifically focusing on the characteristic of power. Now, a lot of the times in conversations between patients and providers are seen to have much more power than their patients. That is seen as a paternalistic view. Now, the goal of this workshop is to ensure ways or to find ways that us as providers can have that equal distribution of power. And the view of an equal distribution of power is a relationship-centered view. So we want to have the same amount, we want our patients to feel that they have the same amount of power in our conversation that we do. Now, there are many different characteristics that providers can bring to the table. A characteristic that is pretty obvious is gender. So, difference between female and male providers. In our book, it talks about how patients prefer to go to female providers because female providers are seen to have a better understanding and are more likely to listen to their patients than male providers. So if you're a male provider in this workshop, one goal that you could focus on is being very understanding and listening to your patients. Some other skills some other characteristics that we bring to the table are knowledge and skills. So us as providers, we have a very particular set of knowledge and skills that we obtain, and this is why people come to us. So it's really important that we are using these characteristics in helpful ways to help our patients. And that brings me to our other characteristic of power, which we are focusing on today. So in today's workshop, we're going to be doing a partnered activity. One person is going to be the provider, one person is going to be the patient. And in the workshop, you as the provider are going to be given a situation on a card. Now, these situations can vary. For example, one situation would be provider placement. So the card is going to tell you something that you will do, and you as a provider are going to have much more power in the conversation. So, for example, for the placement card, the card may tell you that when talking to your patient, you are going to stand over them and talk down on them. Now, after you've gone through the situation, your patient, the other person, is going to then give you feedback on how they felt within that conversation. So obviously in the first situation, you are going to get feedback on how you expressed too much power and that the patient felt like they had no say in the conversation. So then we're going to redo the conversation, and the goal of the provider is to make adjustments so that their patient feels like they are having an equal distribution of that power. So in this example of the placement, when we do it the second time, you might pull up a chair and sit next to them and talk to them. Or maybe you get down to their level, not in a bad way, that sounds bad, but we don't want it in a bad way, but getting on eye level with them so that you can have eye contact with them, having a conversation face to face, directly at the same level, and this will hopefully make them feel like they have a little bit more power and that you're not overpowering them in the conversation. So that's one example. Another example you may be getting is a conversation card. So we will have a conversation written out for you on this card, and you will be saying this conversation. The conversation is going to be very, very provider driven. So you're going to be directly talking, you're going to be directly overpowering them with the conversation. So you're going to be asking yes or no questions, you're going to be getting to the point, you're not really going to be explaining or allowing any time for them to think or to ask questions. So you'll then receive feedback again, and your job is to redo that conversation, but make it in a way that they feel included, because a big part of power is inclusion. So we want to be asking these open-ended questions. We want to be directly asking our patients about their concerns. We want our patients to feel that they are included and know that we are concerned for them, and we want them to have a say in conversation. So that's just 2 examples of the cards you'll be getting. There's many examples to go around, so I did not ruin all of them for you. But the whole point is that we want to make adjustments and make sure that our patients have a shared distribution of power with us. So let's get to it.